Hello to the world. Who I am matters not, but what I will tell you can make a difference in our nation, for our current path will lead us to ruin. I am trying to stay anonymous because at some point hackers will find out who I am, and depending on how this message hits the world, will depend on if I become a target or not, and I don't want to make it easy. Now on to the subject at hand. I have 5 simple ways that our nation can reunite and make a real difference. The truth is, it doesn't matter if Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or Elon Musk get elected, none of them truly care. They only care about money. This unrelenting greed has led to most of the problems that we have. This and power of control as well. Let's start off with the first way to help the nation, and the most important of these is free speech. We must put all social media under the category of common carriers, just like telephones. This means they will be treated like phones, and just like a phone, I can call anyone I want and scream obscenities at them, and they can choose to hang up, but my phone company cannot ban me for what I say. Simple solution that they won't tell you if I don't do your nose. It's freedom of choice. Each user can decide what topics and things can be said, but on their page only. They cannot hide things on other pages, only theirs. This is like hanging up the phone. Allow people to decide for themselves. Stop trying to take everyone's bubble and mush them all into the same bubble. They just want to silence us. We must not let free speech die, no matter how vulgar the content. The loss of free speech is not even a slippery slope. This is a plateau. You can't regulate speech, no matter the content. Threatening violence is going to grant you the consequences of the public apprehending you before you perform illegal violent activities on innocent individuals. Saying that you're going to do illegal activities while free speech still holds the consequences of people preventing you from performing your activities in question still stands. This is why threatening or inciting violence is not really considered covered by free speech. If you claim that you will soon break the law by harming others, we will stop you before this happens. Calling someone racial slurs, however, while rude, and the words may be rooted in a dark meaning, this is not violence, nor is it inciting violence. We must stop considering words violence unless it is actually inciting an act of violence upon someone or claiming that they will do so. The next on the list is shareholder primacy. I have a graph, and as you can see here, before the 70s, worker wages and productivity climbed the same. Now you can see that there is a major separation, almost a flat line of worker compensation, while productivity continues on the same trend. Now, I'm not an economic scientist, but even I can see that this is the main issue. When you've undermined the foundation of our nation, the common workers, the rest will crumble. This is why they tell you you're just a so-and-so. Why do you deserve this much? This is why they can't pay you more. They tell you we can replace you with a robot. Well, when there's no humans working to buy your garbage, who's going to buy it? Without our quote-unquote failures of society, society simply doesn't function. Take away the leadership, and they will just replace you as fast as you say that you will replace them. But we need to understand how to replace these corrupt officials. Simply look at the runner-up in Canada, Pierre. Look how he answers the questions directly. He doesn't skirt around with other questions, misleading statements, trying to, deflect the question with, other statements. This man is one I'm keeping my eyes on currently. He may understand what it really takes to make a change. This shareholder primacy mentality itself is why minimum wage is utter garbage. It shouldn't exist, but because of shareholder greed, it must. All of the profits that are generated by the workers are taken by this small set of shareholders who have nothing to do with the company. They give us scraps. If we wish to get more from our companies, we must give the power of the company to the workers and the consumer, not a single rich investor or a small set of them. In my opinion, investing should be giving money to a company with a contracted return after a specified time, much like a bank loan. Business could be done, and then the company could then sit on its own profits, and the people could then make more money. Or the company itself could expand and make the product itself much better. Currently, CEOs sell out, give control over to a few, and in return get big compensation packages. If your workers want to demonstrate the power you truly hold, don't show up for work across the country. We need to change to a stakeholder primacy model. This will give workers more power in the company to get rid of horrible bosses and take control. We as a country are a democracy, but why then would we allow our workplaces to become a dictatorship? This is why they silence unions. We don't need shareholders. This is just a means for the rich to control us. The shares should be owned by the workers and consumers. If you truly want to invest in a company, you should work there. Get a high position so you can help direct the flow of production. This is how you truly invest. Third is stopping any elected official, whether it be judge or sheriff, or their immediate families. They can no longer invest in stocks. They must provide proof of sale when they get their position, and they can no longer receive donations from a company or any leading official of that company, like a CEO or its board members. They can no longer collaborate with the WEF or members of Davos. And as an added bonus, their pay will all be reduced to $40,000. They already get housing, food, transportation, personal security, and we already pay for that. They can get paid the same as a national average as a teacher. We, the working class, must provide plenty to get what we need to live, and it's time for them to make a sacrifice. No longer will they buy stock companies, then turn around and write laws forcing citizens to purchase the same things that they took stock in. This corrupt policy needs to end if we are ever to see our leaders do the job we have hired them to do. Their job is to lead, not to play with the stock market or get CEOs in their pocket. This means that only small, normal, hard-working citizens will be able to direct the flow of power. No longer can a CEO buy a politician or have a company board lobby to get its laws passed. This brings us to a fourth topic, and this is cleaning the law books and only allowing citizens to vote on the laws that get put in place. This means that we will have multiple voting times throughout the year, that we, as the people, truly get to vote on the laws being put in place. Every 4 years is hardly involving ourselves with the decision-making process. This also means finding all the laws, with amendment laws, and moving these. What I mean by this is sometimes politicians will try and get you to accept a law and you'll reject it. They'll then write a totally different law, write an amendment, and slip in the old law that you rejected, just to be able to get it to pass under your nose without you knowing. This corrupt practice needs to be controlled if our voice is ever to be heard. It doesn't matter if the laws are state or federal, they can only be voted on by the people. This will ensure that a politician is now rendered mostly useless other than filing and doing paperwork as they should. No longer can a snake lie and slip by only to go against his word and vote in laws that people were against. No longer can a politician collaborate with super-rich globalists to enact his twisted vision of aristocracy. Now that we have a good model for giving the power back to the people, we have, last but certainly not least, the icing on the cake. The reduction of college costs and higher education costs. A simple law can be placed in effect that all colleges must offer tests for each course to test out of, regardless of the degree level. Some of you will protest against that, but let me ask, who taught the first doctor to be a doctor? That's right, nobody. He took it by learning and observing the world around him, recording all this information, making notes, and the next person learned from this and continued on with it, building upon this knowledge. Some of the most brilliant people in history never went to college, such as Benjamin Franklin, Jane Goodall, or Steve Irwin. Even Abraham Lincoln passed the law exam without ever having to go to school for it. You can pick up a high school and college textbooks and educate yourself. If you can read, you can educate yourself. One can then use their own hard work and merit to actually achieve their dreams of a better job in life. But they don't want this. They want you to have to pay thousands for a piece of paper that says you know what you already know. Putting this regulation in place would open up the ability for people to get probationary degrees where they can work with a licensed professional in that field and get the required lab hours needed for a real degree. This would drive the cost of everything down. Doctors would no longer need to pay $500,000 to finish graduation school. The poor barber flipper then can learn physics and chemistry, everything needed to be an aerospace engineer, go take his tests, and one day work for NASA. Something our current model will never allow for. This is why the saying holds true that the richest place you'll ever find is at the grave, because we never gave them a chance to shine and snuffed them out with our greed. It doesn't matter what your race, religion, gender, or sexuality is. We all need to unite to stop these globalists from controlling us, lest our country and our world go to ruin. Remember that you, the people, hold the power. Do not be fooled by anyone running, as far as I am concerned, until any of them directly address these specific issues. They're just more puppets of the elites. Rumor has it Elon Musk only bought Twitter to ban a guy, and oddly enough, I was banned for calling him a slave driver for asking his workers to live at work. Especially for a pay that wasn't even close to worth it. Oddly, I never got my account reinstated. You know who I am, Mr. Musk. I told you I'd be calling you out soon enough. Why do you think California has so many EV laws? Politicians have ownership of his stock, and he's just a puppet to them, just like the rest. Donald Trump is, as far as I am concerned, he may be a puppet only to get us divided. However, he has not given me any direct reason to believe that he is owned by politicians, for he wrote the laws that forced CEOs to show how much more money they made compared to other workers. This gives him a plus in my book, but I like to keep them all at arm's length. The demonization of this man as well has allowed me to think that he even may agree with the things that I have stated. His wash them out policy is definitely one that sounds good in my book. I wish to see this country return back to its people, and in my head this seems to be the only way, lest money always hold us back and keep people in poverty.